The government of Syria demands to prosecute the Israeli occupation authorities before the International Criminal Court for war crimes committed against the Palestinian people. Our correspondent Hisham Wanous tells us the details in the following report.
El Colegio de Abogados Sirios.
The Syrian Bar Association has to activate the commission formed by the Federation of Arab Lawyers at the beginning of November to bring before the European courts and the International Criminal Court the file of war crimes committed by the Zionist occupation entity against Gaza, a genocide and a flagrant violation of international law, which the Syrian lawyers claim to use all legal means at their disposal to prosecute and punish its perpetrators.
Palestine is already a member of the International Criminal Court, and on this basis it can file a lawsuit against Israeli crimes before this court, and we as Syrian lawyers, as well as lawyers from numerous countries of the world, will support this Palestinian step in pursuing and prosecuting the authorities of the Israeli occupation regime for violating international treaties, norms and conventions, headed by the Conventions Against the Crimes of Collective Extermination currently committed by Israeli troops in the occupied territories.
The
Syrian Foreign Ministry, in addition to demanding that Israeli officials and soldiers of this regime, which it described as criminal and fascist, be held accountable for their brutal crimes, condemned the use of internationally banned white phosphorus by the occupying force in their repeated attacks on civilians in the Gaza Strip, and called on the organization to ban chemical weapons and to investigate the use of such weapons by the Tel Aviv regime.
Fortunately, our compliance and announcements clash with the refusal of the great Western powers that keep the UN Security Council, OPCW, and the other relevant international organizations paralyzed, and our work is hindered by the actions of these powers that adopt a partial position in favor of the occupation regime, preventing it from being judged and penalized for its crimes and preventing international law from being applied equally to everyone.
Meanwhile, and despite the fact that, like Syria, many countries around the world are demanding a halt to what they consider an Israeli war of extermination against Gaza, the Israeli occupation forces, in defiance and violation of international law, continue their indiscriminate bombardment of homes, residential buildings, schools and hospitals in a crime against humanity that for more than a month and a half has been affecting all the inhabitants of this Palestinian coastal enclave, particularly children, women and the elderly.
Hisham Wanous, teleSUR Oriente.